Hello, I'm Kyla Kablay.
And I'm James Clyde Kabasagan.
And I am Girda Sumala
From Bituled IA2A.
For today's video, we are going to discuss the Indigenous People Right Act, or IPRA.
And our topic for today is all about cultural integrity.
So what is cultural integrity?
Cultural integrity is the practice of respecting and honoring the ownership of materials, traditions, and knowledge that originate from a particular culture or community.
Section 29, Protection of Indigenous Culture, Traditions, and Institutions. The state should respect, recognize, and protect the right of ICCS or the IPs to preserve and protect their culture, traditions, and institutions. It should consider these rights in formulations and applications of national plans and policies. Section 30, Educational System. The state should provide equal access to various cultural opportunities to the ICCS or the IPs through the educational system, public or private cultural entities, scholarships, grants, and other incentives without prejudice to their right to establish and control their own language in a manner appropriate to their culture, methods of teaching or learning. The Section 31, the recognition of cultural diversity. The state should endeavor to have a dignity and diversity of cultures, traditions, histories, and aspiration of the ICCS or the IPs, appropriately reflected in all forms of education, public information, and cultural education exchange.
Section 32, Community Intellectual Rights. So what I learned in this section is that ICCs and IPs have the right to preserve and exercise their own cultural traditions and custom. And also the state should be responsible for maintaining and protecting their culture. It's either if it's in the past, present, and future. Section 33, Rights to Religious, Cultural Sites, and Ceremonies. So what I understand in this section is that ICCs and IPs will have the right to show, practice, and teach their traditions. And they also have the right to the repatriation of human remains. And accordingly, the state shall take effective measures to ensure that indigenous sacred places, including burial sites, be preserved, respected, and protected. Section 34, Right to Indigenous Knowledge Systems and Practice and to develop own sciences and technologies. So ICCs and IPs are entitled to the recognition of the full ownership and control and protection of their cultural and intellectual rights. So meaning that IPs should have the full possession or right to maintain their cultural entitlement, and also the state shall give them the right to control and protect their sciences, technologies, and cultural manifestation, including human and other genetic, vital medical plants, animals and minerals, indigenous knowledge systems, knowledge of the properties of fauna and flora, oral traditions, literature, design, and visual performing arts.
Section 35, Access to Biological and Genetic Resources. Access to biological and genetic resources and to indigenous knowledge related to the conservation, utilization, and enhancement of these resources.
It shall be allowed within ancestral lands and domains of the ICCs and IPs only with the free and prior informed consent of such communities, obtained in accordance with customary laws of the concerned community.
Section 36, Sustainable Agro-Technical Development. The state here shall likewise promote the biogenetic and resource management system among the ICCs and IPs.
In addition, the state shall recognize the right of ICCs and IPs to a sustainable agro-technological development and shall formulate and implement programs of actions for its effective implementation.
Section 37, Funds for Archaeological and Historical Sites. The ICCs and IPs shall have the right to receive from the national government all funds specially earmarked or allocated for the management and preservation.
Thank you so much for